standing in front of Murray House, built in 1884, a beautiful place on the campus, Magill campus. We know that this is actually staying because it's heritage listed. And it's a centrepiece of this really precious piece of land that we're trying very hard to keep for the community.
So it might soon just be left as a refuge piece in the middle of...
That's true.
Wow.
Surrounded by 400 plus dwellings.
But if we look across the road behind us, there are playing fields across the road. What do we think the plight is there?
Probably development. It is zoned for housing,
right,
and strong possibility that it becomes housing.
And if we keep moving around, there are playing grounds over there as well.
Yes.
What's the story here?
Well, that's up for development as well.
Yeah.
At the moment we use that for UniSA soccer club. Where my son plays. And my husband also coaches there as well, so we don't want to see that go, but it's also up for grabs as well.
Yeah. Ideally, we would love to see all of the oval space, the open green space, used as a recreational sporting hub. Both sides of the road, an integrated sports hub.
The creek isn't just an ornament. I mean, it gets rid of flood water that comes down from the hills.
Yes.
I guess if development goes too close to it, we have got flooding risk if anything gets encroached on. I mean, they're keeping a bit of a corridor, but animals use that.
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, Landcare are concerned about the amount of runoff that's happening because there's so much infill in Campbelltown Council. There's real concerns about the runoff that's causing flooding. A lot of this area here behind us, that floods. So they really, if development does occur, they really have to look at flood mitigation. It's causing erosion. This is just part of the creek infrastructure. Above coming from the hills and below going into the Gums area and then out to sea. So it's just so vital that we maintain this as a green space. And that we, and that we look towards rejuvenating it and planting. Lots of understory needs to be planted. We've got 375 trees on campus. We are not sure how many of those would be knocked over. I would imagine a fair few of those for the development that's proposed, but and many of them are significant trees of age 200 to 300 years.
Is that a mulberry tree, did you say?
A white mulberry tree.
Right.
One of the first trees planted here on campus, along with the bunya pine. And that's been guaranteed to stay, as has the bunya pine.
It feels a little tokenish, just saying. I'm an outsider, but it just feels like, wow.
Yeah.
We would agree.
Yeah, we would definitely agree, yes.
Yeah.
And look how wide. I mean, I know this is staying, so these are here's the sad thing, that beautiful tree's staying, but some of these others here are just not going to get a chance to grow like that one has.
They will grow. They provide a habitat. We've got koalas on campus and echidnas. And one of the other things with Koala Rescue, who spoke to a meeting we had recently, they release their koalas here if they've been injured by cars or by dogs, which is one of the main issues around here. This is one of their last refuge that they can come to and release them. And dark nights was the other thing, wasn't it? That the koalas can be here and not be interrupted by lights, by lots of people being around in the evening, so they can continue with their nocturnal habits.
And if the development goes ahead, they said that the koalas won't stay around for it because it will be a completely different habitat for them. So they'll end up going into people's yards and being attacked by dogs or going out into the road, and so they won't stay around for it, which is really sad.
We definitely have the support of Landcare and Koala Rescue and lots of the local groups around here. The sporting groups in particular are really keen for this to stay as a community facility. It's
community zoned at the moment, so that's what we're fighting for, is to keep it community zoned.
Once we lose that zoning and it becomes residential, this is lost forever. So this is our fight at the moment, is to continue its zoning, which is community facilities, which means it is community owned, community zoned and community owned, and it can be used by the community as it has been for the last 200 years or so.
And even nowadays, it's very early on a Sunday morning, There's some people doing Pilates out on the oval. There's a person over there walking, another couple walking near us. I saw some others on the other side.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful sanctuary
It
from
is.
the world, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
And once you come in here away from the road, it's very quiet, very peaceful.
Yeah, it's definitely been our family's sanctuary since we've lived here. It's always where we go when we're all a little bit getting on each other's nerves. We come for a walk here and we all just calm down instantly. It's amazing. It's such a,
And with so many dwellings being built on blocks here, many of the yards around here don't have gardens. And so this is a space for children to run and play and adults just to have a breather.
Yes.
Campbelltown Council unfortunately has one of the highest
Infills.
infills of any council. And so, yeah, backyards are becoming a thing of the past and this becomes the space that people come.
Yes.
And when we go around the corner, you'll see there's a gym, a swimming pool, an allied health centre. All of those could be kept. And they could still be used by the community. Private businesses could actually offer services within them. There's an opportunity for a medical centre. Anything that's community focused can
Yes.
be built on this land.
Yes.
So even aged care.
And we know the government needs to make money as well, but there is still opportunities to make money with those sorts of community facilities as well. Yeah.
Morning.
Morning.
So yes, we're hoping that the facilities are too good just to demolish, which is the aim of the developers, Renewal SA.
We're still walking and there is so much space here. And yet it's so much is now under threat of just being turned into those little box houses. It's almost like it should be renamed Reversal SA.
I like
It's
that term.
Very, very disappointed move because once this land is gone in its current use, you never get it back. It's gone. And yet, we all benefit. I've got little parks near me. If you've got green space within 400 metres of where you live, there's an increased chance of people doing cardio, workout, relaxation. Once that disappears, wow.
Our idea is, with the government, we'd love to set like a benchmark for sort of developments and things, because we're just, like when we sort of started this campaign, we're just so sick of seeing governments just take land from communities and just do high density buildings, and everyone thinks they don't have a, like they don't have a choice and they can't do anything about it. But we want to change that, and we want to, if we can set like a benchmark where governments do sort of consider communities more, that would be the best thing ever, the best thing to come out of it. So people, if we can make a change here, hopefully we can make a ripple effect and go further.
Now, if we just come around this tree, look at that. What's that building? Does that look like regional campus of the UniSA?
So that's where the library is, which is like a state-of-the-art library. It's amazing in there. There's also a cafe in there. There's so many facilities in there that could be reused. But yeah, this is where they're saying that they want to knock down, and this is probably where most likely the high density would be. Our biggest concern is at the moment they're saying around like 5 to 6 stories. But that's what they started off with at Glenside as well. They started off with 6 stories and then they got up to 8 stories because they did some affordable housing there. And now it's at threat of 20 stories. And that could easily happen here as well down the track because, we all know that developers can put in amendments for plans and things like that once, if the land does get sold to one.
This is a space that could quite easily be used for residential or aged care, or even as a place to take patients from the Royal Adelaide Hospital. They could come here. These are each beautiful big rooms that could be used for patients as short-term care. It would just be terrible to see this beautiful space, this building, just to be bulldozed when it could be easily repurposed and could be used for many, many purposes that could support the government in its aim to stop ramping and to open up beds at the hospital and so on. And the building up here, Charlotte, that could just be used for so many purposes, couldn't it?
Definitely.
The new library, fairly recently refurbished.
Yeah.
Offices, council chambers.
Local businesses could come and use it. We've also got ideas for maybe some sort of like
An aged care
Yeah, aged
facility
care
or a health centre.
health centre,
Anything that's community focused.
Yes, to sort of that the government can still make their precious dollars with.
Yes, or private developers who,
Yes.
who might need to, who might like to come and work here. It's such a beautiful space to work.
Definitely.
And the allied health idea, podiatrists,
Yes.
physiotherapy, could all tie in with the gym and whatever.
Yeah.
That would work really well too. Hiya.
Yeah.
Good morning. How are you?
And the idea is that if the buildings were repurposed, there would be also a minimal disruption on the local, like the animals that use
True.
as the wildlife habitats as well. Because if these all start getting knocked down and demolished and huge footings and everything, it's just going to affect like the tree roots. It's going to affect all the animals.
Yes, yeah. Oh, the impact will be huge.
Yes,
Absolutely huge.
definitely. And just around the corner here, that's where the echidna lives.
Yes.
Yeah, should we show the little pocket
Okay.
here? Just like, yes. Because they wanted to knock down all of these buildings, it's very doubtful we'll hang around. We won't have a home, really. Yeah.
And we're coming up to the auditorium, which is a huge lecture space. And that's just been refurbished. Actually, they're still in the process of doing that.
There's been so much money on it.
It would be an amazing performing arts centre.
Yeah.
Um,
And local schools use it. My son's school used it for the end of year concerts and things like that, music concerts.
Yeah.
And there's also a great need for like theatres in this area as well. We don't have any of that. All the ones that are around here are booked out for months and months and months. Yeah.
no, it's a wonderful space, and there's a smaller theatre on the side that's associated with it.
There's one at the front as well.
There is, yeah, and the sound studio's this way as well. So, I mean, they're working on it now. The university has the lease here for another 9 years, but the reality is the new programs start in 2025 with the University of Adelaide. And so, 2026. And so the feeling is that within 5 to 6 years' time, people will be moving off of this campus and the development will begin. And people would probably be saying, well, why are we so concerned at this early stage? It's because the master plan for this site will be released in May this year.
Yeah, the first two drafts will be. Yeah.
And a little later this year, the final master plan. And once that master plan is in place, the opportunity to make changes will be negligible.
Yes.
You know,
this is our
and
only chance.
so that's why we're pushing for this keeping of the zoning and trying to get as many people on board to enable that to happen.